you today. We got to talk about this Bitcoin historical signal and what it means. And right now, Bitcoin is pushing down. It is getting blasted right now on the short time frames. We're going to cut to the 5-minute chart here, and you can see huge candles to the downside. Bitcoin is just kind of trying to find a floor here right around 66,700, 66,800. But look at that drastic move to the downside. Bitcoin traipsing along in a range, had a nice little support level right here, but then just crash through it. I am joined here by Drew. We're going to be looking at the Bitcoin charts. We're going to be looking at some crypto news today. Major story with Logan Paul. There's a whole scandal brewing beneath the Pikachu card. And we have maybe, let's just say, we found out that Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook not doing some good stuff with AI, and maybe that's going to have a major effect on its stock. And we're going to get back into crypto. We got some ETH charts here. Drew, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I may or may not be trying to catch a fallen knife right now on Bitcoin. It's crazy. I've noticed for the last few shows, you open up right as these nasty 5-minute candles are going to the downside. They might have shifted. Was that big pullback right at 10 a.m. again today, DZ? Was it right?
You know what? Let's actually look at the chart. But I'm glad you brought that up. You're talking about getting these trades in. We are in a short. I accidentally opened a short with too much leverage. I had not opened a short here. I usually default to the 10-20 range. This had been defaulted at 50x. I'm closing this position. The Discord gave us some shorts, gave us a short on curve, short on arrow. I'm more up on the arrow. I'm up on both of them, but I am closing this position, everybody. I do want to go ahead and put that on your radar. We are massively up, so you might hear a little chime. I don't think you're going to hear it, but this is going to be the sign. I'm closing it. Got our profit secured there. Let's get back into the charts here. Yeah, major levels to the downside. Once we zoom out, though, you go to the 1 hour, you can see potentially a little bit of a trend line. I was looking at this earlier, but Drew, this is going to be a close one. What do we got here? Not quite. We're not quite at that level. This is the 1 hour charts that we're looking at here. It's like maybe even support right here. So we got 1, 2, 3, and potentially looking for the 4th touch. If it happens on this hour candle, you're looking at a 66,500. If it happens on the next hour, just look at it dropping about $100-200 every hour. It fails to hit this level. So the sooner it hits this level and bounces, the better it's going to be for the bulls. And if it does do that, you're going to see a higher low. Potentially, you could say, hey, I'm seeing an argument for an uptrend. You're almost see a upside down head and shoulders pattern for
here. Yeah, absolutely. And that slight higher low is what I'm actually expecting Bitcoin to be designing right now in terms of price action. So
not quite. So a little bit break of a structure there, but pretty close to a head and shoulders. You could make an argument that it goes maybe a little bit high on the shoulder pattern right there. If you wanted to play with it, you could say, all right, well, there you go. There is your head and shoulder. Let's just go ahead and do a breakout target. If this does move to the upside, this is Bitcoin that we're tracking here. The bottom of the head hit, if you recall, that was that little bearish period where it dipped below right around 65,000. If we can get a breakout to the upside, looks like gets us back to 77K. So a pretty bullish target there for Bitcoin. Let's look at the rest of the crypto market because, like I said, we're seeing a massive downturn. Maybe this is going to get even worse when I hit refresh.
It's getting worse as we speak, man.
Yeah, the altcoins. And should I have kept those shorts open? Chat, should I have kept the shorts open? Honestly, 50x. I cockroach in, cockroach out. I am not getting blasted by the raid. I'm not talking about like an ice raid. I know my last name's, I shouldn't joke about that. But let's look at the alts here. ETH is down 0.8%, XRP down 2.7%. Keep scrolling. We have a little bit of a pump here. Leo token always does like to contrarily move with the market. Cardano looking suspiciously strong. I don't know why that coin is flat, not deep in the red. Monero with a little bit of a pump here, and XLM also in the red. Zcash in the red. Let's look for the big movers, the big shakers here. Meme Core, Rain. None of the major products except for Jupiter and Tau. Do you see those moving to the upside? And Canton, one of Drew's favorite tokens right there. And Morpho. Morpho is also one of the big movers. And now Pippin rolling back those profits as an AI play. You get a little AI positive headline, you're going to get a Pippin pump, and then the insiders are going to dump that token. We see it every single time. An XRP, top 5 token, and a top 5 dumper today. It is down 2.7%, but holding fairly strong for the past hour. Other coins are down much more for the past hour here. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, Zcash, Litecoin, Filecoin, Aave leading the ways when we look at the pumps. Pippin, Pump Fun, and Midnight leading the way here. Now, Drew, how did your interview with Canton go? For those who didn't watch it, we did do an interview, or Drew did. Canton founder or CEO or both?
Co-founder, co-founder, and it was very interesting to hear how long Canton's been in development and how much time they've spent building relationships with like DTCC and all these major organizations, and nobody really paid attention to it. I didn't see it until I saw it pop up on RWA one day before its token release, but they've been building this thing since like 2014. That was what really stuck out to me, and how little they care or need mega retail FOMO. They like this a chain that really speaks without words when it comes to, I see a lot of projects spending lots of money to advertise and to get in front of people's faces on X and YouTube, wherever it might be. Canton didn't care about any of that stuff. They didn't spend any of their time trying to get retail involved, and they just came out of the gates as one of the biggest RWA assets out there and are dominating in a few different sectors. So I didn't get into the self-burn mechanism of Canton because that's a little bit too nerdy for people's attention span, but essentially it is a place where treasury repos, where trillions of dollars is being transferred to and from by these organizations. It's up to us crypto nerds to care about it or not. Maybe it's not an old school coin, but
hey, it's how we find the winners, everybody. Now, speaking of the winners, you can take the shortcut to winning. That's going to be joining our Discord. We do have a link. Coincidentally, I did not know this. They also closed the arrow short, saying go ahead, take profits on that arrow. It did hit that take profit one, and that is a trade that was only open for 33 minutes. Gave you the arrow short at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Closed the short 10:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nice 22% gain there. I went a little high on the leverage, so DZ got even a little more profit on that one. All right, let's look at some of these historic levels. First one we're looking at, and I'm going to break this down for you to show you that we can go lower. Bitcoin's oversold over 20 days. This is the 20-day percent change oscillator. So just kind of looking at where it is relative to the previous 19 days. You're going to see a couple drawdowns. I want to highlight on the first major drawdown. FTX, it's already beaten down pretty hard. Bitcoin had already fallen to 20K at this level. But look at the Celsius bankruptcy. So let's focus on the similarities of what we're seeing with Celsius and what we're seeing with, where we're at today. Although this chart, I think you do need to move it a little bit to the left side. This is going to be March 2020. This is going to be early June. So looking here, June 13th is when Celsius network technically collapsed. It paused all users' withdrawals and transfers June 13th, 22. So I highlighted here, June 13th is a couple days before this wick. This is 3-day candles. And you can see this is the 15th candle for 3 days. This is going to be the 18th. So 16th, 17th, 18th of June. About 5 days later, 4, 5, 6, 7 days later, it would wick very, very low. And I'm showing you that wick to show you today's price action. Now, let me delete this head and shoulders. Look at that. You'll also see a wick that went very low, but the subsequent weekly candles are higher. Let's go back to Celsius. Let's look at that collapse. The next weekly candles are higher. They do not wick as low. So seeing a lot of similarities right here. But I want to point this out to you. If you got in at that Pico bottom, how much lower would Bitcoin go? It would only go down about another 10%. And so you'll see, oh, well, it hits this metric, it hits that metric, it falls more 40%, 50%, 30%. If you capture from the bottom, extra 12% is what that number was. I want to do this right here. Because again, we're seeing similarities now that we're seeing then. We go another 12%. I mean, you're looking at a bottom above 50,000. You're looking at like roughly a $52,000 Bitcoin. Here's more similarities. People are saying this bear winter is worse than 2018 or 22. They don't remember those times. 2018, $3,000 Bitcoin and a global computer, aka ETH, with no apps, limited throughput. In 22, total market collapse and a regulator that wanted to put you in the shackles. Today we have stable coins. So where are we at today? Today, stable coins going to 3 trillion, tokenization 200 trillion, regulatory climate is positive, better tokenomics, BlackRock, Apollo building on DeFi, massively build out infrastructure, ETFs, rising concerns about the value of the dollar. So yes, I'm optimistic. Doesn't mean smooth sailing, but I'm optimistic for the ride, excited for the ride here. So just kind of pointing out, the optimism here. More similarities. Weekly RSI is matching those same levels that we saw in June of 22 as Bitcoin plays this manipulation game. So low time frame manipulation, cleared longs and shorts on this bank holiday. We literally told you don't trade today. Lunar holiday in Asia, Chinese New Year, President's Day in America. A lot of volatility. Well, that led to breakouts and shakeouts while staying in a narrow range. It shook it off like a Taylor Swift song. The bear market comparisons are now continuing. Now let's look at the weekly RSI. I want to cut to this. The RSI teases once per cycle low. Material Indicators co-founders stress ongoing resemblances between this year and the last bear market. RSI readings on the weekly timeframes pointing to a Bitcoin price bottoming phase. And he zooms in right here. It's a little hard to see. You can see RSI bottoming right there. Yellow circle right there. We would fall a little bit lower. Right now, you can't see RSI potentially rebounding, but this RSI kind of was a bottom. So a little bit of a mixed bag, Drew. One was the Pico bottom. One went a little bit lower. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Are you feeling Pico or are you feeling lower?
Well, I mean, I feel like Pico bottom is around 54K. But
so close to that 52 that I was throwing out earlier.
That's what stuck out to me about that analysis you just did, is that, this initial jackknife to the downside, a lot of shock and awe, a lot of, kind of surprised by that. 54, from what I remember looking at on the volume node profile for this whole price action range, is kind of the bottom end of the greater volume node. And so when I'm looking at that, I feel like that is the more likely, but we could wick down if we have like a one major crash out on the markets from, so I mean, there's some things going on geopolitically right now that are setting the stage for a lot of fear. But honestly, like, we pumped when we kidnapped Maduro. So I'm not sure if, like, everything going on in the Middle East, yada, 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 is really going to cascade us to the downside.
I can't wait to play that level in Call of Duty in 2 years. It's going to be, it was like 5 years ago, predictive programming. Interesting about 54,000 is right below the daily body close, the candle close. So if you don't know how these work, a red candle when it's not Heikin-Ashi, actually, let me double check here. Red candle when it's not Heikin-Ashi, at least. Let me see. Are we in the right range? Yeah. The way it works is this is the start of the candle. It would then go a little higher. It would go a little lower and it would close right here. And so that's how those candles work. And if you move it right here, that was Heikin-Ashi. Yeah, look at that, Drew. Within $60, $70. So I definitely see a strong volume profile, volume node, if you will. So a lot of volume in this area. Should be very, very strong support for Bitcoin. So I like your bottom indicator right there. To me, that looks very, very plausible, very doable.
Yeah, I mean, it's we hit that max velocity to the downside, but like that's the yen carry trade right there. That is the yen carry trade, that singular day where we washed out to 49K, and it was max fear. People thought cycle's over or it's over with. Run for the hills, and that's just another kind of snap crash to the downside and then slow grind back up.
Yeah, you got 120% pump. Nothing to scoff at, nothing to sneeze at. Now, this ain't something to sneeze at either, folks. We're going to talk about Kevin O'Leary. That's right. Kevin O'Leary back in the news. A lot of the Disco fam says, wait a minute, I know where you're going with this Kevin O'Leary story. We're not going there with it. Now, fun fact, Drew, I did a show with Kevin O'Leary, right?
I remember that you were on, was it Shark Tank or something?
Money Court. I wasn't on. I wish I was cool enough for Shark Tank. I don't know what I'd do on Shark Tank. I'd probably take the deal because the lights are on, the pressure's on. Here's my Barbara impression. I don't know how you say no to that, but that's what she does. I'd say no to Damon. Little scammy.
Yeah, you would throw it back in their face, be like, "I deny your offer." I could totally see you doing that. But what were you on? I remember you were talking about
Court. I was on Money Court. Yeah,
was it about Bored Ape Yacht Club or something?
Yeah, it was a court, like it was a Judge Judy show for small claims court, and it was a small claims over a NFT. I say all this stuff out loud in 2026, and I feel like Matthew McConaughey beating against the wall in Interstellar. Everybody, please smash that like button. Thank you for the little side story there, a little DZ side story. But let's get back to crypto here. Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary says institutions will limit their Bitcoin exposure to 3% until the quantum threat is resolved. There's growing concerns over quantum computing and its ability to disrupt Bitcoin's encryption. They're limiting these institutional participation. They'll stay cautious. They'll stay disciplined. And they'll wait for clarity. That's the reality, O'Leary said. Reflecting this concern, Jefferies strategist Chris Wood revealed last month he removed Bitcoin from his model portfolio due to concerns over quantum breakthroughs. So this is a watch what they say. I guess this guy, it is a watch what they do, but mostly this is a watch what they say. Kevin O'Leary say, hey guys, I know what they're saying. They're saying they don't want Bitcoin. Well, this is a watch what they do. Who bought the second most amount of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF in October, November, December? Number one, I can't really see it there. It's really no one you heard. But number two, you'll never guess who bought the second most. Jane Street. Jane Street is very connected Wall Street firm. L'Aurore Limited. Jane Street, very connected Wall Street firm. You keep going. Number 5, BlackRock. Number 6, Morgan Stanley. Royal Bank of Canada coming in at number 13 here. So you could say, all right, I'm looking at what they're saying, or you can look at what they're doing. It's not just them. Of course, we got Michael Saylor. It's President's Day, so we couldn't announce yesterday. They bought more, spent $76K, now up to $717. Can this psychopath please stop buying Bitcoin? People talk about the quantum threat. There's a real threat where a psychopath owns 5% of the supply. Maybe people don't want to buy that.
Yeah, and also, could they just buy it on the regular market instead of OTC so we get some good price action out of it? Maybe, it's like...
Look, you're already buying the top. You might as well do it. You might as well do it, Michael Saylor. Now, let's look at some of the numbers here. It gets a little wild. Current price right now is 68K. Puts them at a loss of 8K per coin. Total down almost $6 billion. The buys were funded by sales of the common stock, aka diluting the Bitcoin. Now you can make an argument, well, they bought more, but it diluted their shares. I'd have to do the math looking at the average purchase price. Right now the price is down, so they did dilute the shares. You can't just say that empirically. They diluted their shares. There's less Bitcoin per share, and they also bought more Bitcoin from their preferred series of stock. This is the one that's given the guaranteed 11% dividend. No one wanted to buy at guaranteed 9%. And if you're wondering, well, why doesn't smart money just buy all this free money at 11%? Exactly. So I'm just getting more and more bearish on MicroStrategy. Our call options pumped hard yesterday, pumped hard Friday. Yesterday's close. I might be looking to divest, and got some positive news on oil too. So if we got time, I'll show you bullish on oil. We got a breakout confirming, but back to Bitcoin here. Just a big shout out to Steak and Shake. They got more Bitcoin. They're implying that they're going to have a $15 million Bitcoin reserve. They route every Bitcoin payment into the corporate treasury reserve. The chain did not provide figures. Steak and Shake did not provide figures or define what it means by risen dramatically. So they said same store sales risen dramatically after their strategy was enacted. But if you look right here, they announced further 5 million allocation for Bitcoin. They'll bring the total exposure to 15. Right now they have about 11 million Bitcoin. Average cost a little underwater, 92K. But you could look at it like, well, they're making profit on the burgers. So maybe, they're kind of selling burgers for that amount. So pretty good price there. Steak and Shake is good food. All right, Drew, what's better? Chat, what's better? Steak and Shake, Five Guys, and include the cost with your gauge.
Oh, Steak and Shake, hands down. If you're including the cost, like a burger, a decent burger from Five Guys is like $15-16 just for the, a burger and maybe some fries. Steak and Shake, I get the Bitcoin burger. It's not too much. It's not as greasy. And they do a pretty good smash on the burger. So I'm a fan of Steak and Shake. But the Five Guy fries are really, really good. I love burgers.
I'm on my creatine today. I have not done any creatine. I want to, though. I would do it daily if they still sold it at Costco. I don't want to buy some weird Chinese stuff from Amazon or whatever. So are you my plug?
Yeah, no, I got you. I'll hook you up with that. I know where to find them at Costco.
All right, we exclusively put it in Ziploc bags and interact in parking lots?
Yes, dude.
Okay.
I have a store. I was at the gym, and these people were parked next to each other. I was like, oh, they're selling steroids. I was like kind of joking to myself. I look over and they got a little vial, a little steroids thing. And it was the weirdest thing in the world.
He was bent over the trunk, his buddies. And is that what it looked like?
It was super awkward. It was actually a small Mexican woman that was dealing it out.
But super jacked.
No, she looked like a janitor.
She's a coyote. She helps people cross the border. She actually throws you over the wall.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of looked like that. Yeah, and Captain's got it. It's the gummies, the creatine gummies. Get the creatine gummies, DC. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be huge. Fantastic. I'll get you.
Five Guys, just build your own in and out. Okay, we do need an in and out. A lot of people like Culver's. A lot of Culver's.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
You put the cheese curds on the burger at Culver's for the real transcending experience. Put the cheese curds on the burger itself. It's huge.
All right. What do you? Watermelon flavored gummies. I was like, wait a minute, watermelon flavored fries? That don't sound
continue.
right.
I'm gonna go get them. I'm gonna show you. These are good. I'm sorry to get sidetracked by food, but hold on.
All right. Well, while Drew does that, I'm gonna look at this next Bitcoin story here. Then we're gonna get into some altcoins. I didn't even tell you this at the beginning of the show. Massive unlocks in March for certain altcoins. Let me just go ahead and front run it. I'm gonna tell you what altcoins. This is all the unlocks month over month in 2026 scheduled unlocks. So these like tokens hit the market for these altcoins. I'm gonna identify what these altcoins are. So if you're holding some altcoins, stick around. Let me get through this last Bitcoin story here. Bitcoin improvement proposal to block spam draws heat from the heavyweights. And it's related to Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not kidding, actually. So BIP 110, it's a soft fork. It's a type of upgrade that works smoothly with existing setups without breaking the blockchain, aka making everybody force their download of a new software. And if they don't, then there's two chains. So soft forks are just the easier version of a hard fork. Look at that. Kind of, you can almost do nothing. It seeks to set strict temporary limits on non-money data and transactions, particularly ordinals inscriptions that jam images, videos, or tokens into Bitcoin blocks. This is not great for Bitcoin DeFi, not great for the Bitcoin NFT space. But a lot of Bitcoin maxis are saying, well, all that is ruining Bitcoin. So implementing the same could help fight spam, talk about the soft fork, and unclog the network, making it cheaper for regular people to use and keeping the blockchain focus on payments. Now, Drew, one more thing, and then we'll turn to the RFK sponsored segment here.
No.
However, Blockstream CEO Adam Back, he disagrees with removing spam, and he calls the proposal an attack on Bitcoin's reputation as reliable money. Now, he doesn't really explain why it's an attack on its reputation or attack on its security there. He throws out some ad hominem attacks. Oh, it's a lynch mob. There's not consensus for. Well, we don't know if there's consensus till we put up this BIP 110. Spam's just an annoyance. Fits within the block size. Yada, yada, yada. Well, guess what, folks? Adam Back's one of the most... stick away. Adam Back is in the Epstein files. He went to the island. He is named Andy several times. There's a lot of proof that Andy is Adam Back. And, hey, are you still playing in the Bitcoin space? Where are you? I have Adam Back on my island this weekend. And the allegations are, Drew, that do you remember how Bitcoin core dev Gavin Andresen went to the CIA or NSA office? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Within a week is when Epstein started emailing people like Jason Calacanis, hey, I want to talk to these Bitcoin devs. And so we have a Bitcoin dev go to the CIA, explain what Bitcoin is. Within 1 week, Jeffrey Epstein is then messaging people, hey, I want to get a hold of these devs. And so they do say that maybe there's credible circumstantial evidence that Epstein, along with intelligence agencies, tried to kill Bitcoin as a form of money and move it into a form of digital gold.
Wow. Jeez Louise, man. And the timing of that, Epstein gets the heads up. He has a lead. Someone goes to the CIA, and then he starts reaching out to the whole community of developers within Bitcoin to try to entice them in.
And then that led to, Blockstream, a lot of corporate shakeups there, led to the founding of Tether. A couple of years later, it would lead to the block size wars where, there's big blocks and small blocks, and that's where you get Bitcoin Cash. It's a fascinating, wow, I would just say rabbit trail That's why DZ never stands up. What are you talking about? I'm standing up right now. Is it my bounce?
Got pajama pants. No, they think you're in pajama pants. I think you're pretty decently dressed daily. You know, you've definitely evolved from the DZ that I knew years ago.
Mr. Hoodie and the backwards cap.
You know, it's definitely all right. So here's another thing that'll make you evolve further, for better or for worse. These are at Costco, DZ. Okay. Zena, they're watermelon. They got vitamin D and creatine in them. You got to eat 5 of them for a serving. I'll take them every day. Feels fantastic. I'll probably go bald. It's going to be great.
All right. Now, sweatpants, maybe. No, I got real pants on. Dang it. I wear joggers outside of work. No, we're not on any. Look, if Drew gives me a white powder, it's creatine, folks. All right, let's talk about those altcoins, though. I was kind of burying the lead there. Massive unlocks. March will see $6 billion worth of tokens unlocked. 3x the normal monthly average of around 2 billion. Here you can see the average monthly unlock is right at 2 billion. And here we're unlocking 6 billion tokens. Now, there's way too many tokens to list through them all. So I found you the largest ones and the altcoins that are likely on your radar. So I have a tokenomics account. This formerly used to be called tokenunlocks.com or tokenunlocks.io or something. But now they're tokenomics.ai for whatever reason. I don't know. But here you have the large unlocks over the next 30 days that we're going to be looking at here. Massive, massive moves here. Zero, 43% of the tokens being unlocked. Kaido, 30%. H, 24%. Grass, 41%. Jupiter, huge, huge unlock here. We also have Sweet, Athena, Hype, and Aptos. And we got a little ARP one, we a little AVAX one, a little Pith one, some Pump.
Yeezy. Whoa.
I didn't know I had a market cap of 40 million. Hey, good job, Kanye, I guess. But yeah, massive, massive unlocks are coming, folks. Let's just go to the top one here, Zero.
Yeah, this has been in the news too.
God, they keep changing their website and they keep, got it? Hey, look at this, got it? Like, I've clicked that red box 17 times this morning. I'm tired of clicking that red box there. This is where we're at. So yeah, you can see the spike. So linear, and boom. Yeah, you can see pretty big jump on there. So yeah, big unlock for some altcoins coming, folks. So beware if you're holding the altcoins on that list. I'll run through it one quick time here, and it's gonna go here. Go to big unlock. Zero, Kaido, H, Grass, Jupe, Sweet, Athena, Hype, Aptos. We'll throw an ARB there. We'll throw an AVAX and Pit there. So big unlocks. Just if you're holding those altcoins and they're a big part of your portfolio, I think it's worth diving in. You could set up a free account. You can look at a lot of the free stuff on that page with the free account and just say, hey, you know, does this fit my thesis? Am I still bullish, or would I rather just hold some Bitcoin, some ETH, some Solana? And if the answer's, you know, questionable, maybe go ahead and make some big changes here. Speaking of ETH chart pattern rallies to 2.5. If a key level is hit, there was one thing I want to show. Then I got my own TA here. ETH balance on accumulation addresses. This thing just keeps going up and up and up. Now, usually accumulation address, I want to say it's you don't move them for 6 months. They define it here. They don't define it, but basically these are addresses that have inflows without outflows. Just accumulation. These balances or these wallets are just growing and growing and growing. So the ETH balance on these HODL addresses just keeps rising. Meanwhile, price is falling, but maybe there's going to be a little bit of a reckoning, if you will. ETH also hit historically oversold RSI. Historically is where bottoms tend to form. It's around 2K. I want to say looks like they're maybe using 1 day because that's a lot of movement there. Yeah, they're using the 1 day. I think 1 day RSIs is a little dubious, but I noticed something. This is starting February 4th. Right now it's February 17th. So right at 2 weeks, 13 days, ETH has been in this symmetrical triangle. And so we do have targets. You look when it touches the top, when it touches the bottom. That's going to be your implied breakout, implied breakdown. Now, right now, we just gotta call a spade. I think the odds favor a breakdown versus a breakup. Now, I'm not saying, scenario 1, we bounce. Scenario 2, we lose it. Scenario 3, we do this. I think the odds of probability are number 1 is this, number 2 is this, number 3 is this. Just looking at probability here. So let's go ahead and do probability number 2, if we do break down, woo, you're looking at a $1,600 E, 1650. That would give us a lower low. We can go the daily here, but you could make the argument it's a higher low if you zoom out enough, Drew.
Yeah, that's a pretty clear trend line too. If it does cascade down to that $1,600
Oh no,
mark,
it ain't. Is it?
Well, just check it out here real quick.
It's pretty damn close, Drew. It's
right,
pretty damn close. You can put up the candle bodies right there.
So
yeah, fine. Good call. Good call.
It'd be interesting when I look at the ETH chart. I can't help but think about Tom Lee as well. Like, is he gonna hammer buy if the price goes down to that level? I saw Tom Lee was out there buying more ETH over the last few days as well. So he's continuing to lean in. He's definitely turning into the Michael Saylor of Ethereum.
Yeah, he's the bull tart of ETH. You know, I think we can say that. It's not pissing, ruffling feathers here. Let's just look. He tweeted 10 minutes ago, Bitcoin has beat gold as a store of value since 2010. Okay, yeah, you move the metric back far enough, it beats everything. Ethereum is the ultimate product market fit for 3 mega trends. Choose a lane, Tom Lee. All right, 11 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. Drew, I don't think he's doing his own tweets.
Oh, really? You think he's got a tweet bot going on, or someone tweeting for him?
He's got like interns or something here.
Yeah,
he's doing some threads. Did one on Bitmine an hour ago. Bitmine prevail. All right, so we got Bitmine latest holdings update from just very recent. It's 1 hour old. 10 billion in crypto plus moonshots. They got a whole lot of ETH. 193 Bitcoin. 200 million with Mr. Beast stake in Beast Industries. 17 million stake in 8Co Holdings. Total cash 670 million. So Drew, to answer your question, he has dry powder on the sidelines. $670 million. So if we do see ETH break down, he might be there. Tom Lee's going to be there. You look back, there's one set of footsteps. Why? Because he carried the ETH bears. Carried them he cradled them in his arms. Now let's talk about chat. I don't know how people feel about this guy. One, that's a sus AI touch up. Give me one word for Logan Paul. One word for Logan Paul. I'll give you mine. I hate to say this. Phony. Did I tell you the Logan Paul story? I got 2. I'll just share one right now. I've rubbed elbows with Logan Paul twice. Not like, same table, but, adjacent table or adjacent VIP areas. Who's the guy that throws cake? The DJ that throws cake? Aoki, Steve Aoki.
Yep.
Steve Aoki concert. We're in the VIP area. So we had a really good shot of the DJ area, the DJ setup. We're kind of like looking down at it. Logan Paul had an NFT collection called Polaroids. And he carried around this Polaroid camera and he took, I think, 20 photos and he turned them into NFTs. And if you minted one of the rare Polaroids, one of the 20, you got to experience something with Logan Paul. He like fly you out to UFC or something. They came out very stiff, business-like, somber even. It did not look like they were walking into a Steve Aoki concert. It was in the middle of the concert, mind you. Now, Steve Aoki hit play, turns around, he's like chatting with Logan Paul. Logan Paul chats with them back. His business guy like gets the Polaroid out, and they're like, they kind of head nod. Business guy holds open the Polaroid. All of a sudden, Logan Paul just goes from this to,
oh my
and they take the photo. You see the flash. And then he just stops. It was like Thorazine hit his bloodstream or something, like all of a sudden, the fentanyl hit the system.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, and then he like shook his hand and walked away. I was like, God, what a phony.
I saw him interview with Tom Brady, and he really struck me as a megalomaniac.
That's a good one too.
He feels that he would be able to compete on a professional level against football players because he's got biceps now. And thinking that it's insane to me to think that someone would sit in front of Tom Brady and be like, yeah, I could compete on your level, no problem. And Tom's like, no, you cannot. Absolutely cannot.
I saw that. You're not a real athlete, basically. You're not a real athlete.
You're good for show. But,
well, there's a whole scandal here, and the scandal isn't even his fractionalized ownership, folks. That's just the icing on the cake. Now, not one positive word for Logan Paul there. Logan Paul sells Pokemon card for $16 million, years after the fractional NFT row. So he set a new Guinness World Record. This rare Pokemon card sold for 16 mil, most expensive card sale in history. Take that, Babe Ruth rookie card, Mickey Mantle rookie, Honus Wagner. Though the new record sale didn't come without some controversy. The auction for the Pikachu Illustrator Pokemon card, one of 39, there's only 39 of these, was made for a competition in Japan in the 1990s. It was the Pokemon TCG World Championships, 1999 in Tokyo, if my nerd credentials hold true here. It was won by Scaramucci's son, AJ Scaramucci, the son of Anthony Scaramucci. Paul's believed to have made $8 million in profit after the fees. He bought it for $5 million back in July of 2021. Now let's get into the scandal, and then we'll do the new scandal. So this is the old scandal. It reignited criticism over his move to fractionalize ownership of this card. So he bought it in 21. Then in 22, he fractionalizes the ownership, but the platform went offline, left investors scrambling for returns, prompted a lawsuit. He addressed the criticism. He said the marketplace went offline for reasons beyond his control, but once he was aware, he paid to restore the site so users could withdraw their funds. Logan paid out of pocket about $270,000. Now, Drew, some would say he only did it because of a CoffeeZilla video, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know if that's true or not. Now, basically, they only sold 5.4% of the card. They wanted to sell 51%. So people didn't really buy those shares. He had CryptoZoo drama. He had some other drama. But now into the recent drama. There were Polymarket bets for this Pikachu card. What's it going to sell for? What's the minimum? What's the maximum? One wallet made a lot of money. It made $300K. Oh my God. Logan Paul insider traded the auction of his own card. The profile picture of the account that was the biggest winner in the market is exactly the same as the one he used in the promotional video for Polymarket. So he did a social media post. People zoomed in and saw, all right, I see what you're using here. I can see which account. 300K. Now, I haven't verified, like I haven't looked on Polyscan myself, but if this is true, biggest scammer in the world. Huge scam. Now, Scaramucci Jr., he's a venture capitalist. Got his MBA at Stanford, started working at Tesla. He would then go join Google. He would then go into the VC route. Fast forward to today, he bought this for $16 million. On the live stream, Scaramucci Jr. announces a new project, the Treasure Trove. Personal mission to buy and collect historically important one-of-one assets. He's going to throw in a T-Rex fossil, and this is getting Nicolas Cage very excited. He's throwing in the Declaration of the Independence. There's a map on the back, and now he's going to have the Pikachu card. So this man's about to do the world's most expensive scavenger hunt.
Wow. The Declaration of Independence within the Treasure Trove. That's something that might be kind of interesting. Maybe it was Scaramucci's son knowing they're getting scammed, but using the name of the Paul brother to get the information out to a whole new crowd, right? I think maybe that might be a play that, you know, the son knew that it was kind of crazy to go spend that much money, but he did it because Logan Paul and Jake Paul have a completely separate crowd than the Scaramucci's do. So potentially, maybe they just knew it was cost for advertising there. But
so we're saying, yeah, Scaramucci got scammed for 16 mil. What if he sells it for 20 million in a year? Or what if he puts it in this treasure trove that makes 100 million? I don't know how he monetizes that. Do you pay for tickets, pay for access to the treasure map? Maybe I'm not sure how it's going to work, but interesting project, the Treasure Trove. We'll be watching that. Now back to Polygon here. Polygon daily fees flip Ethereum amid the prediction market boom here. Polygon raked in 400K in fees. ETH raked in 200K. This is the first time it ever flipped ETH on the daily transaction fee list there. So very, very big move for Polygon. And elsewhere, some have pointed at growing stablecoin usage on the L2. Particularly, Circle's USDC is also high. Polymarket uses USDC on Polygon for its trading, Drew. So what are your thoughts here?
Oh, Polygon being so beat down in terms of price, but then flipping ETH in terms of even just for a short amount of time on transaction fees really makes me think back to that idea that Polygon cannot and will not share the equity of its growth with the token holders. And we've gone through 3 different name changes on Polygon. I want I wanted to see Polygon succeed, and I still do, because it was one of my best trades of the last bull market. But watching the price cascade to the downside while usage and just general growth on a product that was built out of Polygon is kind of maddening. And I think that this might just be a situation where Polymarket continues to grow and go to other chains, and stable coins just basically are the go-to play there. And Polygon is essentially the Netscape of the .com era, where it was there, it was a big part. Layer 2s were a big moment. And then now we're just off to the races with user-friendly, retail-friendly Polymarket product that just wants stable coins anyways. That's just my take on it. And this is from a guy that wants Polygon to have another bull market. Like, I made a lot of money off of it. It was like it was my only 100x of the last bull market, right? So
nice.
That is something I wanted to see, and it just has not happened.
More trades hit the Discord. So more trades hit the Discord. Looks like a whiff long triggered a few minutes ago. It has pumped, so keep an eye out on that one. Now, I got a question for basically someone who can maybe answer this. I'm not sure. We got Ernest Lee. Ernest Lee here. He's now interesting tax professional. So I'm gonna lead you with this question. Hey, man, I win the Declaration of Independence. What do I tell the IRS? What's my tax implication here?
Well, the tax implication is that if you've received something of value, you have to report the fair market value of that thing on the date you received it as income.
So you would have to basically, I don't know, either like look at what the last one was sold for, or maybe get a personal assessor, someone who specializes in this. You would have to pay taxes on this basically that year's. So if you win a $10 million Declaration of Independence, you have like $1 million tax bill coming, huh?
Could be.
I don't want to win this treasure hunt anymore, fellas. I don't know. But Ernest, how are you doing?
Net. I'm doing great.
Tell the people what you got going on, and how you can help them. Yeah. Coming up in April 15th is not that far away.
So I'm Ernest Lee. I own a tax firm called Decrypted Tax. We do taxes for individuals and businesses with digital asset exposure. So if you trade crypto or you own crypto, either or, we do the taxes for that, and U.S. federal income taxes and state. And then, we have a website. We partnered with Node 40 for our website, and we track all the data similar to CoinLedger or Coinly.
Hey, I think I see that guy. That guy looks familiar. Wait a minute.
Right there. Yeah. And so currently we do a lot of full service tax preparation. So we prepare everything from your W-2 to your on your 1040 or your Schedule C. We also prepare, like it says there, the 8949 Schedule D that you can move straight to your tax preparer. But yeah, that's what we do. We're full service tax prep with the 8949 Schedule D as something you can use for your existing tax preparer.
Nice. Now, I heard you might have a side project that you've been looking at or focusing on. Tell me some clues, man. I'm out of the loop here.
Unvault.com is a NFT trading platform. It will go live in the next 45, 60 days. We're currently onboarding a lot of projects on ETH, Ape Chain, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, Solana, Abstract Base. Those are the chains we're launching with. But it's a cross-chain NFT platform. So if you have a project or you have an NFT on a project, you're able to come to us and we'll put you cross-chain. And so your Ape Chain NFT will now be tradable on Ethereum. Abstract,
that
Solana.
makes a lot of sense. Can you tell us more about this patent pending? That's what people are going to get excited about.
Yeah, so it's patent pending. The way that we do the cross-chain movement is that we do a vault and unvault system. And so it's all on chain. You vault your NFT on the existing chain and it goes into the smart contract and it's held there. And then you unvault the NFT on the other chains. And so the patent is on that process, but it's also on the divot you see there. Divot is a mechanism whereby a project can share royalties with its holders. And so,
okay,
in the
so
instance,
not so much. So this is going to be something I do think we're going to see more and more of, especially as people start tokenizing, fractionalized ownership of, say, media, whether it's a show on Netflix or YouTube series. So you make 100 of these, and then you'll disperse the profits, I guess, to the 100 token holders. So you're doing that for people too, huh?
we're careful about profits, and so
Okay,
it's
fair,
not a security. In the NFT instance, so the NFT project pays the holders of the NFT for doing things that help market the project, and that's what the divot payment is. It's a payment to the holders for doing those things that help in marketing.
All right, so these are just going to be products or projects, or I mean, is there a token involved? I mean, a lot of people are probably going.
Yeah, there's no token involved. The divot is just a royalty redistribution. The Unvault is NFTs, so they are tokens. But having those NFTs available across chain, so if you're a project that is on a chain, let's say you're on Ape chain, and we know that the price of Ape has gone down to 10 cents. You can now have potentially the market of the Ethereum market or the abstract or Solana market.
Okay.
And so your users, it's not a mass migration. The users decide where it goes. And the Unvault website will be, again, patent pending. We have the ability to show those per collection rather than per chain. Like right now, you go onto OpenSea and you click which chain you want to look at, and you look at all the collections that are on that chain. Our marketplace will be purely per collection, and so you'll see Bulls on the Block, for instance. We own Bulls on the Block now. You'll see all those NFTs on every different chain that they currently are active on.
Okay. I like that. Now, I do want to shift gears back to the tax stuff. Look, we got taxes coming up April 15th. Is there any just general advice I could say, can you tell people general advice to just not be on the target of the IRS, obviously follow rules and regulations, but is there any kind of tips you could share with the people here?
Yeah, so the important thing is to get a good tax advisor that understands tax of crypto. And so whether it's us or someone else, you want to make sure that when you say cross-chain transactions, they're able to understand what you're talking about. Or you're saying staking rewards, or
no, they're talking about
airdrops.
Jesus pendants. I guess you sold your cross-chain to the pawn shop. Is that what you're talking about? I don't know what cross-chain means.
Yeah. And so you just want to make sure that your preparer understands what you're doing. And if they don't, certainly schedule a call with us. You can go on there and in the book a call section on the top.
Right here.
Yeah, and you can schedule a free consultation, and you can see, schedule with myself or Lincoln, and we have another advisor that's coming on. It's no obligation.
Huge. All right, so 60-minute consultations are free. Well, folks, I would say jump in on these. I'm gonna go ahead and try to fill your whole calendar, Ernest Lee. Just go here. Yep. You see it at decryptedtax.com. Yeah, decrypted.tax. Sorry, decrypted.tax. Right. Hit schedule free consultation is going to pull up Ernest, and Lincoln's the other co-founder, correct?
Lincoln is our tax manager that works with us, and he coordinates all the tax preparation across all the preparers.
And this is free, no obligation. If you sit down, they ask a bunch of questions for an hour. You don't charge them anything, huh?
That's right. 60-minute consultation's free. It's free for you. It's free for your tax preparer, whatever you got.
Disco fam. All right, folks. Make sure you go check that out. Ernest Lee, I really, really appreciate it. Anything else you want just share why we have you on?
No, that's it.
I think that's huge. I want to double click on that. Free consultation, actual human. We're not talking about we're going to put you in a chat bot and you're arguing with OpenAI's crappy version that's free or something. No, this is an actual human being. This guy really knows his stuff. He's in crypto. Nice. You say cross-chain. He knows you don't mean the Jesus pendant. This guy's actually going to be able to help you navigate this just very complex landscape, if we're going to be frank here. It's our tax system. It's not easy for a reason, folks.
And individual taxes are due April 15th. We're scheduling calls for those. We're getting people on. Currently, if you come on as a client, we guarantee that you'll be done by April 15th. On April 1st, that is cut off, where we don't have that guarantee, but we can do an extension. And so the extension is an extension of time to file, not an extension of time to pay. And so what we have to do between April 1st and April 15th is make sure that those clients have a good faith estimate as to what they should pay, and they go ahead and pay that
so
amount
if you got
in.
some crazy $250,000 bill that you know is going to be due, Ernest isn't going to say, you know, with this handout on the 15th or the 14th, like, I need it now, but they could go ahead, set up, go ahead, get your rates. I don't want to say rates, but get your information locked in. Go ahead and get it in by the deadline, folks. Let's just prevent being on anyone's radar, because trust me, AI surveillance is coming. And so maybe you could get away with, you know, being a little loose with your information, previous tax returns. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm pretty sure Palantir is going to look over everybody's tax return with a fine-tooth comb there. So just be careful out there, folks. But once again, we do have a link down below, decrypted.tax, and it's unvault.com.
It is unvault.com.
Unvault with a T, unvault.com, not unvald, or not unbald. That's where, you know, you try to do some Rogaine if you're Deezy here. But
It's not happening.
Ernest, always a great time. Folks, go get your free consultation. Get it with Ernest Lee. Get it with Lincoln. Go down below. There's a link. You can click the button. Free 60 minutes. No obligation. Free consultation. And it might, you know, no obligation, but it might prevent a severe monetary obligation if you just do the right things, folks. He's going to navigate you in the right direction. Ernest, Drew, did you have anything you wanted to ask him?
Well, I mean, just from what I could tell, it looks like 2025 Coinbase, KYC exchanges in the US are definitely handing that information willingly. It's kind of changed the game where I think it's the 1099. I had the document here. It's the
1099 DA.
The
Digital
DA.
asset.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is something that I've seen is a big change. So what DZ is hinting at here, this world where AI is scraping through our information, going through all of that, it's gonna get really weird quick, and it's gonna be pretty good to have people like Ernest in the background. And I see everyone asking for how much it costs. Is it just a one basic payment for the software to plug in to do the taxes, or are there different tiers for?
There's different tiers. It really depends on how many transactions you have. I'm going to pull up the list here. For the 8949 Schedule D, the price starts at $120. We are working to actually lower that this week. We've done a new deal with Node 40, so those fees are going to come down. If you sign up now, you'll get the discounted fee. Just sign up and you'll have a 1 hour consultation, and we'll have you that on the discounted fee. But yeah, it starts out at 1,000 transactions, 10,000 transactions is the next tier, 100,000 transactions. That's within 1 year, and then unlimited. And our full service tax prep is even better than that. We do full service tax prep starting at $600, and certainly it goes all the way up to unlimited transactions at $3,500.
Yeah, you go to H&R Block, they're not going to know what to do with your staking rewards, folks. So just go to someone who kind of knows what they're talking about there.
And the other thing, something you mentioned just a second ago, you mentioned the 1099 DA. One of the problems with the 1099 DA is that that reporting is done based on exchange. So if you bought on Kraken and you move over to your wallet and then you move it over to Coinbase doesn't know what you paid for that. And so it's going to report the entire amount received as income. And you're going to have to do the taxes to make sure that the IRS understands where that came from. And so our software does cross-transaction tracking. And so we have all the exchanges linked. We have CSV uploads if we don't have a particular coin linked, but we're adding coins all the time. So yeah, just log on, schedule a consultation. We'll walk you through it. We try to make it easy. I don't talk tax to clients. I talk real stuff to clients, what they understand. This is what you need to do, and let's just get it done.
All right, Ernest, I definitely appreciate it. And if you don't want to feel embarrassed because you're talking about fart coin at the tax preparer office, call Ernest. He's not going to judge you for buying fart coin, folks. All right, Ernest, I appreciate it. Link is down below. Smart guy there, Drew. Smart guy. Definitely knows his stuff, man. And I'm going to jump in and show you the Polygon chart because we did get a little sidetracked on the Polygon story here. I want to just throw this on your radar. This is the 3-day bullish divergence that I noticed. And last time we had hidden divergence on the 3-day, led to a pretty good pump for Polygon. I would say, you know, wick to wick, looking at an 80% move. So it doesn't look all that dramatic here. That's because the price, oh, we're on log. There you go. There you go. Still doesn't look that dramatic, but right now you look 3-day bull div. This as strong a signal as you can get. 3-day bull divs historically, very, very good reversal indicator, at least for a short term. So I'd be very surprised if we don't create a new high, meaning getting at least close to 20 cents. Right now it's at 10 cents. So you're looking at a very good 2x or Polygon. So Drew, I do like the Polygon charts there. Speaking of Polygon, check this out. I made $7 million in 7 days with OpenClaw on Polymarket. You open the article. I made $7 million in 7 days. OpenClaw on Polymarket. Here's how. If anyone writes an article how they made easy money with OpenClaw, they're lying or the opportunity doesn't exist anymore. And that's the key thing. Anymore. If it made someone $1 million 6 days ago, 2 days ago, it's been, let's just say the market has beat out all the profits there. It's the market found a way. The market got efficient. Speaking of market getting efficient, let's take a dark turn here. Challenger crash. You know what the Challenger crash is, Drew?
Very dark that you go straight there, but yes, I do know the
big shuttle disaster happened in the 80s. What made it even more onerous was there was a teacher. It was a female teacher. She was on that shuttle, so she perished while the students watched. And anyways, did you know it would take the NASA report? I want to say it was like 2 months or maybe even a month. Maybe it was weeks at least. It was at least weeks. I think maybe even 2 months. 2 months to find out why it exploded.
Okay.
Wall Street found out that day. If you look at the stock, that supplier, their stock crashed that day. So the market is efficient, folks. So when you doubt the market efficiency, just be very careful doubting market efficiency. But how about efficiency with pump.fun? Dumping tokens, sold $500 million pump at a loss, what it means for the holder. So just be careful here. The team's wallet received 3.75 billion pump. It's only 25 million, but they've already sold $500 million. So just kind of signaling that pump is going to have some pretty severe buy pressure. But now let's get into the dark, dark story here. I almost hesitated not doing this. Windios, I'm tired, boss. We're so cooked. Hell yeah. What are we talking about here? Meta, aka Facebook, Instagram. They patented an AI that can keep a deceased person's account active and running, posting, messaging, video calling by replicating the dead user's behavior from past data.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is so dystopian to think about.
This is literally the Black Mirror episode.
Absolutely. And think about how much money people would pay to have an AI avatar of their dead loved one showing up every single day at a point.
I'm not, hold on. Sorry to cut you off. I'm not shilling Polygon. I'm pointing out a very bullish trend in the charts, and you could fade it at your own peril. But this is, look at this, Drew. Mark Zuckerberg was caught.
Speaking of peril,
this is, I think, is a New York Times reporter. No, this is Nick Shirley. Actually, Nick Shirley, he exposed him. I think it's in last night's YouTube video. There he goes, you know, trying to sign up your dead grandma. Now, what's crazy, what's even crazier, 4chan predicted this back in 2023, February. So 3 years ago, what was maybe ignored or dismissed back then, I'm a Meta insider. So we have a Facebook engineer working on Project Lazarus, AI that takes over deceased person's media account, includes age, progressed photos, interacting with content, everything else. Again, this is 3 years ago. We were originally told it's a service offered to people struggling with the loss of their loved one. Seemed like a decent idea. It's getting weird now. I'm having second ideas of what it's actually going to be used for. It's extremely capable of impersonating people. Doesn't take as much initial input as one might think to train the AI on how they interact. It's very convincing. Here's where it gets dark. An entire island of people could go missing, and with little to no downtime, the AI could take over all the social media, and the world wouldn't have a clue that life wasn't continuing as usual.
Jeez.
A lot of it's become compartmentalized. It's taken a dark turn, it feels like. They've forbidden communication between people working on different things. Something isn't right, and I don't know what I should do. Not going to post any personal information. I remember seeing that. I love green text. threads. I've just, hey, I was a 4chan power user back in the day, so I like to, you know, peruse the green text threads every now and then. I remember when this came out, I didn't know if it was real or not. I think this confirms that this is real, Drew.
You know,
We caught you, Mark. I caught you, man.
This is very dystopian, and people are going to probably end up having to pay for meta AI likenesses of people that have died in their past, and they're going to want to pay for that. It's really kind of scary to think about. And people are asking in the chat, how do they know that we're not fake? Right? How do you know that me and DZ aren't
I'm
AI?
fake. I'm 100% fake. My forehead would be this high by now, but I put in there like, pretend you can stop my male pattern baldness. What would I look like?
Yeah, that's and you know, AI doesn't necessarily like carry this stuff
Well,
on it.
I was an op sent to replace the guy.
Yeah, I just it's something that's pretty interesting to think about. Like, how do you know what's real and what's not real? And weeding through that information is getting more and more difficult for sure.
Well, there's the schizophrenic test. You ever see punching dead people works?
Go on.
So there's a lot of people with schizophrenia. They think their room is populated with people. One of the ways to break that is to punch the ghost. And, you know, someone in the chat did kind of allude to something very similar. If you think people can read your thoughts, you yell out very abrasive thoughts, you know, slur words, scream it in your mind. And if they don't react, they obviously can't read your mind.
That's a good play. I like that play a lot.
Yeah. I dated someone with schizophrenia when I was like 20 years old. Really, really bad schizophrenia. Auditory hallucinations, random visual hallucinations as well.
Yikes. Yeah, one of my bassists had schizophrenia. Not a good situation. Not a good situation. Ended up going downhill very, very quickly here.
They say you can't be fake with a mullet.
It's getting long. It's definitely getting long. I kind of doubt that AI would have this kind of drip too. You know what I mean? Like, I doubt that AI would know to dress the way I do.
No, that's the Palmer Lucky, I think. Look.
You know, yeah, pretty similar. Pretty similar look. God, there's so much to like. We're talking to Ernest. I think what I've been looking at in terms of Coinbase and Kraken willingly like giving all of your
this is his profile pic.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
The same shirt.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
kinda. It's a little different, but dude, that's that's his damn banner.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the odds, chat? What are the odds?
Palmer Lucky is an unsung hero of our military and defense systems here in the United States. We give a lot of credit to Elon Musk, but this guy has made us super soldiers. He's made
your
us
style spirit animal.
Right. And another thing about Palmer Lucky and the development of the Oculus is that the U.S. military had the Oculus type systems a long time before the Oculus ever made it into the hands of the public, right? So when we look at, you know, how long is it going to be?
Yeah, the old tech is 10 years ahead of where they tell us.
Right.
Theory. Yeah.
Right.
Not even theory, I guess.
It's not really a theory. So we I think, see too far forward sometimes. And so I feel like the general thesis of, you know, proof of compute, cryptocurrency being valuable, AI systems kind of broadly being rolled out across the world to govern systems is not a wrong thesis. It's just, it takes us longer than we expect to get there. And that time from point A of thesis to point B of solution is where you get shaken out. You get disillusioned, things don't go your way, and you take your eye off the ball. And that's where a lot of money can be lost by questioning a good thesis and by losing patience in a good thesis just because time is passing. So I will say that in terms of, you know, because I know there is only up to go in terms of technological advancements for humanity. As long as we don't see some massive washout and Carrington event, we're going to keep developing. And with that, I think crypto, I think AI, I think power generation, rare earth, the oil industry is an interesting one. How are the oil play that you have right now, DZ, might pop off because we have, I think, a third or maybe a half of our naval fleet in arm's reach of Iran right now.
You know, it's actually flat. I am surprised. It is largely flat today. We can cut to it. So yeah, flat for days. Flat February 13th, 17th. So it's been flat for a while. So right now it's not moving the needle, but I will say I saw that news and I was like, I feel like I'm holding on right now. You know, we're holding on, and wow, we're basically still at break even. We're not at a loss. We're not at a gain. It's up 0.83% move. So, you know, still like we're just holding on. We're just holding on. If they pop, they pop. If it looks like a breakdown, you know, we'll definitely get out of there. Now, speaking of crude, very interesting chart I'm about to show you here. We got some potential breakouts. Look at this. So just showing a trend line. It's not a big surprise to see right now. We could come up, retest this. If that is going to be a nice move to the upside, we might not slow down till, you know, way up there, folks. So it could see a fairly significant move. If this happens, those oil futures are going to go crazy. But, you know, I will say this. I'm probably going to pair my position if we hit this trend line. If we get back to the trend line, let me go to the daily here because I'm at the weekly. That does make it a little bit sloppy.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the clean one I've been looking at here. If we get back up to this, I am closing. I think I probably should have closed here. We were in the profit. I will learn from my mistake, and I will close at least half, maybe 75% at this area. So there you go. There's the oil TA. I know a lot of you mostly crypto, but hey, folks, there's money to be made in commodities, you know, precious metals, stock market, all that good stuff. So we're here I'm about the making money game. I love Bitcoin. I love crypto. I hate the idea of a CBDC. I love the freedom that Bitcoin can entail, especially when you think on a global scale. But it doesn't mean I don't like making profits. And we're here to generate profits for you so you can retire early and have those grandchildren anoint or erect a gigantic oil painting of you because you're that much of a legend. Okay.
That's
like,
the goal,
like a
man.
baron from the 1800s. That's our show for today. Drew, anything else you wanted to throw in real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I think my daughter is out accumulating most of the crypto market right now. Every single A+ that she's getting $10 in Bitcoin.
Everybody smash the like button for that. I'm doing it right now. I got a plan. Smash the like button.
Dude, she's
Drew's daughter getting good grades.
She's getting up to close to $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, and she's only been doing this for I think 6 months or something like that. So she is hammering schoolwork. She saw the price of Bitcoin dip, and she's going absolutely ballistic.
Fun side story. We're going to get a little personal here. My wife babysat Drew's kids, and she said his daughter, very well behaved, very well put together, and his oldest son had a very clean room. Yes. Drew, you're raising some good kids. And on Switch, I just realized that you can play almost all the Super Nintendo games on the Switch. They kind of hide it on there. You don't have to pay for it. It's under you dig and dig and dig. You'll see SNES. It doesn't say emulator, but it's basically an emulator. Free Super Nintendo games, Drew, because we're trying to find Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
And tell me, why does this have the best video game soundtrack?
Oh, well, I mean, Donkey Kong has a good soundtrack. I will say that. But the soundtrack that sticks out in my mind is the GoldenEye.
GoldenEye is great. Tetris is good on Game Boy. I like the old OG Tetris one. A lot of people like the Pokemon cities. Vermilion City is kind of a meme. It's supposed to have a good song. You can't go wrong with Ocarina of Time. A lot of good ones. Chat, if you're watching, especially on the playthrough, put your favorite video game music down below. Emulation Nation. Yeah, free games, dude. Steal their Switch. Force them to play Super Nintendo games. There's Nintendo, Super Nintendo. There's Nintendo 64. Force them to play Donkey Kong Country. I don't know what Super Mario World. We discovered it last night. My wife was playing Yoshi's Island, which is
You're
Super
giving
Mario
me
Brother
FOMO on this. I have a Switch too, and I'm gonna go get this on that immediately. That's actually probably the next thing I'm gonna do. The new Switch 2 is pretty good. It's basically the same thing as the old Switch, though. There's a lot of good. God, remember when Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 came out?
That was a good one.
You know, that was a good song. How's your NVIDIA short, Drew? Really, the only thing that will initiate me to do the NVIDIA short is if I see the naval movements of China move into the outskirts of Taiwan. That's where I'll start to go into that. It's a potential. We're not there yet. So I haven't seen that. Really, the focus has been on Iran. That oil thing that you have may surprise you if we do end up going into hard-sided conflict with Iran. Like I said,
I heard a good theory. We'll know about Taiwan well in advance because of what they'll force Chinese students studying in America, what they'll force them to do. And someone pointed out, yeah, we're likely going to see a lot of indicators 6 months prior and a lot of indicators 3 months prior.
Yeah.
I just want to put that mental model on your brain there, because that could be something that maybe, holds true. And probably something worth exploring as we get just so interconnected. It's going to be kind of impossible to hide a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Information's moving fast. Good show, though. A lot of information. A lot of crazes. What is this? Oh, my gosh. Are we going to listen to this?
No,
I don't know.
We're going to end the show before we get copyright struck. Smash the like button on the way out. We appreciate it, folks. We'll see you in the future.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the